One of the biggest frauds we've uncovered in Michigan.
We've identified $5 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse in the state budget.
A lot of people are very, very concerned, oh my gosh, to have a budget that's under $80 billion, you must have had to gut a lot. Nope, we didn't have to gut, we just had to cut. 4,277 phantom jobs.
You guys realize what a scandal this is? People should be prosecuted for taking money that was appropriated to hire employees and using that money for another purpose entirely.
Gender reassignment surgeries for prisoners. There are programs in there that don't even exist, and they're funding them. Like the Star Base, I mean, that was eliminated a few years ago, and they still fund it. We get rid of the arts and culture grants. They're real waste. I mean, you look at what they are. Glass blowing, barbershop quartets, all kinds of things, really. It's incredible the things they got away with calling it arts and culture grants. See, that's why Winnie Brinks doesn't want to get in the room with me, because I know the budget in and out. I don't know it as well as Ann. So they know if Ann and I get in the room with Sarah Anthony and Winnie Brinks, we're going to get a great deal because we know the budget better than them.
But it's an optimistic time for us, and I hope that the people in our communities are recognizing all that the state can do to help make their lives better.
Colleagues, we are well into the development of another state budget. And as Appropriations Chair, I remained committed to ensuring that we're building a budget that makes sure that everyone has a fighting chance at success. Yet at a time when we are working so hard to incorporate cost-saving measures into every part of our state budget, we continue to dodge jab after jab from the Trump administration, who seems dead set on making life harder for people who actually keep this country running, our hardest working Michiganders. Each day, we wake up to a new economic proposal from a federal government that's designed to help the ultra-rich get even further ahead. An administration that imposes short-sighted and reckless tariffs on our closest trade partners. Tariffs that leave the rest of us to foot the bill. American workers and workers right here in our state are scared, especially the hardworking men and women from our steel and lumber industries, our auto workers, and of course, our farmers. And when confronted with the economic catastrophe that lies ahead, the president offers empty platitudes and chalks it up as a little short-term pain. Think about that, short-term pain. Now, this president and Republicans in D.C. have justified these blanket tariffs as necessary to protect core American industries. But I ask you, does anything represent the ideals of America and the dream that we all strive to more than our family farmers? Farmers that I've met throughout my district certainly don't have time for any length of pain. And neither do families who rely on them to put food on their table. Now, it's my job to make sure that the independent farms right here in mid-Michigan have the resources they need to survive and thrive in this market. Now, I've done my homework. I know that Michigan farmers rely on fertilizer from our Canadian partners. But thanks to these Trump tariffs, that fertilizer just got more expensive. In addition, Michigan imports around $1.5 billion worth of agriculture and food projects just from Canada alone. All of this means that farmers are faced with two very terrible choices. I'm certain that the farmers on the other side of the aisle would be interested in these comments as well. All of this means, again, that our farmers are faced with two very terrible choices. Either they can pass on the cost onto consumers, making our groceries even more unaffordable for working families, or fertilize less and deal with lower yields, meaning even higher prices down the road. It's a lose-lose situation. And when you do the math, it's clear these tariffs aren't just a temporary heartache and headache for our farmers. They're a long-term economic gut punch to the heartland of our nation. Colleagues, this isn't leadership. This is sabotage. And it's time to call it what it is. It's a direct attack on Michigan farmers, on Michigan workers, and on Michigan families. Thank you.
Many years now that Donald Trump's tariffs are going to cause inflation. They didn't cause inflation during the Trump administration. We keep on defying economists' expectations. They keep on saying inflation is going to be 3, 4, 5%. It ends up being 2%, which is exactly where you want it. So we're very sensitive to this. We're obviously monitoring this stuff. But I think the evidence is that what these tariffs have done is caused a lot of capital to flow into our country, a lot of new facilities being built in our country. And, we don't see the evidence yet. And I've been skeptical from the very beginning that President Trump's tariffs are going to cause prices to rise. What they're going to do is cause people to come back into our country. And the final point on this, Will, is the president said this better than anybody. You know what your tariff rate is if you build in the United States of America? It is 0. You don't pay a tariff if you build in the United States, so why not employ American workers? Build your products closer to the people who are going to be consuming those things. That's the whole point of President Trump's economic vision, is more for America, more in America, more by American workers. And if we do that and pursue that policy, it's going to make everybody better off.
My fellow conservatives, MAGA, warriors, patriots, and proud Republicans, President Donald J. Trump's tariffs are a knockout punch for America's economy, and Michigan is reaping the rewards. Democrats like Senator Sarah Anthony, the Michigan State Senate Majority Leader Winnie Brooks, and Governor Gretchen Whitmer are peddling flat-out lies, claiming these tariffs crush our farmers and workers, and that is wrong. President Trump's America First policies are delivering big league wins, low inflation, massive revenue, and killer trade deals while protecting our jobs. These Dems should be indicted for their shameless misinformation. And I've got a long list that I want to share with you guys of why Trump's tariffs are a home run and why the left's fear-mongering is a total bust. Welcome back, everyone, to the channel. Thanks for stopping by again. And can you believe this nonsense? These phantom jobs that Michigan just got busted funneling taxpayer dollars into and then laundering it, circumventing it back into their own corrupt, grubby little career politician hands. If I lived in Michigan, I would be pissed. If Gretchen Whitmer was my governor, I would be pissed. I would want her to have to answer and be held accountable. And I've got more that I want to share with you guys. Trump's tariffs are a slam dunk for Michigan, even though they would prefer to lie to their constituents, to their voters, to their citizens, to their residents, instead of telling them the truth that President Trump's tariffs, 25% on Canada and Mexico, 10% on China, are pure genius. And they're strengthening Michigan's farmers and workers, not hurting them. And this isn't just Michigan either, because I believe that we're going to see more of these lies, misinformation, and nothing even close to the truth being delivered in other states as well. For instance, food prices are sky high in America, and in places like California, a single orange will cost you over $1. However, in South New Jersey, they're dumping oranges out on the side of the road to spoil.
People are wondering what's happened to the food, why it's so expensive. Here it is on the side of the road. Free oranges.
Yeah, make it make sense, folks. And don't even get me started on the dairy situation and America. Folks, I don't know about you guys. I'm lactose intolerant, so I try to stay away from it as it is. But ice cream that doesn't melt for 4 days is ridiculous, if you ask me.
I also offer milkshakes on my Dirty Soda trailer, and the premium ice cream that I usually buy was out of stock for this weekend. So this is Aldi's Sunday Shop brand. accidentally left it in the back of my trailer from Friday night until late morning over the Labor Day weekend, late morning on Monday, and it did not melt. Like, what kind of chemical, disgusting wizardry is this?
I don't want to waste money, but I may have to do it. I may have to go to Aldi and buy some ice cream and just see if this is actually what they're selling, because this cannot be good for you to consume. But if you guys want to see that test done, let me know. Maybe I'll get my wife, Michelle, to do it. And listen up, folks. The farmers are actually winning, okay? And they don't want you to know this. The left, the media, the Democrats, they don't want you to know this. Senator Anthony whining about farmers' strain is absolute nonsense, okay? President Trump exempted fertilizers from tariffs. They don't get affected by tariffs, okay? And then you also have the 10% potash tariff, or potash or potash. I'm not sure, tariff. And it adds only $235 million to costs nationwide, okay? There's $235 million seems like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, where U.S. consumers are spending nearly $3 trillion on food, I believe, it is a fraction of the $20 to $25 billion spike under, remember, former President Joe Biden's Russia-Ukraine mess, with $10 billion in subsidies from Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins. Michigan farmers are thriving, and with 70% saying tariffs will boost U.S. agriculture. It's funny, they have this faded, fuzzy memory when Trump introduces tariffs, but Biden actually did far worse, especially from a farmer's perspective, food production perspective. Don't even get me started on the crops that were completely damaged and destroyed because farmers couldn't afford to produce, to harvest. It was a big ordeal, folks. I know you guys remember that. Let alone, then you add on top of that the fact that they weren't even allowed to repair their own equipment from John Deere because of a whole nother mess. Our food situation, production costs between 2020 and 2024 was absolutely terrible. And Biden is to blame. Inflation is low currently. Revenue is high and going up, boosted. Gretchen Whitmer and Winnie Brinks call tariffs a middle-class tax. Pure fake news, folks. This is anything but. Inflation's steady at 2.7%, actually lower. That was back in July. It's lower. Miles below the near 10% disaster of 2022. And tariffs have pulled in $28 billion in June alone. And if you add it up until today, this day, the numbers are astronomical. Funding roads and farms without taxing hardworking Americans, thanks to Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent's leadership under President Trump. And if you want to ask yourself, how is it possible that states like Texas and Florida are about to eliminate property taxes? It's because of wise, intelligent folks who know how to manage money and are more focused on helping the citizens, the residents of these states, rather than lying to them, fucking them, and then trying to steal their money. Trade deals are rocking under President Trump's leadership. Trump's tariffs forced the world to pay and play fair, and the EU's down to 15% tariffs. The UK's at 10%, and China's dropped from 145% to 30%. Canada and Mexico paused their threats, and markets are opening for Michigan's dairy and auto exports. And Vice President J.D. Vance is cheering on these wins, as I showed you earlier. Consumers barely feel it, and the left's crying about skyrocketing prices is an absolute and total lie. I've been reading my comments, and you guys have been telling me that you're actually seeing a decrease in the amount you're spending at the grocery store. Food price hikes are just under $8 billion, which is peanuts compared to the $41 billion to $55 billion during the Biden era crisis. Biden was an error, not an error, ERROR. And exemptions for produce keep groceries affordable. They don't want you to know that. They don't tell you that, okay? Exemptions for produce keep groceries affordable. And even Walmart backed off of some of their claims, or at least bogus headlines produced by mainstream media. And people are saying that Walmart is getting even more competitive and lowering prices. And so we're just busting up Democrat lies left and right here, folks. Anthony, Brinks, Whitmer, they're spreading fiction to sabotage Trump's success, or at least attempt to, failing at that as well. And they're only doing harm to the people that are relying on them or forced to, deal with whatever in Michigan. And Anthony ignores farmer optimism and subsidies. Brinks skips over the $28 billion in revenue and stable inflation at the minimum. It's way more than that now, folks. Gretchen Whitmer, who cozied up to Trump in the Oval Office after covering her face with a blue folder, cries economic ruin while Michigan thrives, but somehow they're stealing money and paying phantom salaries. Their misinformation is a betrayal of the entire state. They deserve to face the music, maybe even indictment for misleading so many folks. And Trump's team just continues to deliver. The going down in history as the most successful administrative cabinet ever, pulling us out of this disastrous rut that we were in and doing it so fast, so quickly. And Trump, his all-star cabinet, and the GOP are putting America first, as well they should. That's what we voted for, right? The left, the Democrats, they put America last in more ways than one. Don't get me started on that. And we've got wealthy job creators backed by tariffs, and they are powering Michigan's economy. They want to say these are Trump's wealthy, rich, billionaire friends. But if you do think back on John Deere, $20 billion manufacturing pledge, you remember that. We got GM bringing thousands of jobs back home. I just saw that the other day.
Without question. It's not like, gee, I hope it happens. It's going to happen. The results of Ford that just announced it's going to create 4,000 new jobs, American jobs. Hyundai, 14,000 jobs. General Motors is moving production of the Chevy Blazer and Equinox from Mexico back to the United States where it belongs. Don't forget, we lost 55% of our auto production over the last 35 years. 55%. We were the auto capital of the world. Like there was nobody even think about challenging us. We lost 55% of it to Mexico, Canada, China, a lot to China, and other countries. And it's all coming back. We will be bigger. A couple of years, we'll be bigger than we ever were. We'll be more dominant. We'll be bigger. We make great product, too. We're starting to make really great product. We're going to be bigger than we ever were. We're going to be at the level that it was when we were the only one that really, we sold to the world. And we're going to be back.
And these policies lift workers, uplift workers, enrich workers, farmers, and families, not just the elite. Proving the left's billionaire favoritism claim is absolute and total garbage. Trump's tariffs are a grand slam, keeping inflation low, revenues high, take-home pay even higher, and America strong. Anthony, Brinks, and Whitmer's lies can't hide the truth. Trump's making Michigan and America great again. And thank you all for the love and support. Without you, none of this would be possible. Every donation, super thanks, sent through YouTube, memberships here, and on Patreon keep us going. Hopefully taking this show on the road here very soon and bringing our voice to you and making an impact for what is to come. Because our fight isn't over, even though we're truly blessed and winning every day that we wake up and touch ground. And it doesn't matter if you're in California, Texas, Iowa, Florida, New York, or Kansas. We're all in this together. And today, I want to talk about something that affects so many of us and our loved ones, Medicare. Folks, The Medicare enrollment period is right around the corner, and I cannot stress enough how critical it is to take action now. Whether you're new to Medicare or already enrolled, these periods, like the annual enrollment period from October 15th to December 7th, are your chance to make sure you're set up for success. Waiting until the last minute or assuming your current plan is good enough can lead to costly mistakes that could haunt you for years, maybe even for the rest of your life on Medicare. And let me share a couple of real world examples to drive this point home. Imagine a retiree. Let's call her Susan from Florida. Susan thought her Medicare plan was fine and she'd be on it for years. Didn't want the hassle of reviewing it. But when she needed emergency surgery, she found out her plan didn't cover the specialist she needed. She was stuck with thousands of dollars in out-of-pocket costs. Now, if she reviewed her options during the enrollment period, she could have switched to a plan that covered her needs and saved her from the financial nightmare that she now faces. Then there's John from Texas, who procrastinated on enrolling in a Part D prescription drug plan because he didn't need meds yet. Yeah, when he was diagnosed with a chronic condition, he faced a lifetime penalty, paying higher premiums every single month because he missed the initial enrollment window. And these aren't just stories, they're warnings. Delays or inaction during Medicare enrollment can lead to overpaying for coverage, gaps in care, or penalties that stick with you for life. And here's the truth. Most seniors are not on the best Medicare plan for their needs. And if you are interested in saving money, specifically on your Medicare, then make sure you give our friends at Chapter a call. And I want you guys to really, really pay attention here, because it's come to my attention that most seniors are not on the best Medicare plan. They're either overpaying for the same coverage they could get elsewhere, or they don't have the coverage they need in an emergency. Chapter can review your options in under 20 minutes. It's fast, it's simple, it's easy, and it's free. If you're already on the best possible plan, they'll tell you they're unbiased and they're purely here to help folks, seniors, save money on healthcare, on average $1,100. And if you're not on the right plan, they'll help you switch, even if it's to a plan that pays them nothing. Again, unbiased, folks. This is unique and unlike any other Medicare provider out there. And this is exactly why we love Chapter so much, because they're literally just trying to help people. Chapter works for you, not big insurance or the government. And there's no pressure, just honest, free advice from professionals who know Medicare inside and out. And according to studies, many are either overpaying for the same coverage that they could get elsewhere for less, or they're stuck with plans that leave them exposed in the event of an emergency. Whether it's a hospital stay, a specialist visit, or a new prescription, the wrong plan can cost you thousands of dollars or leave you scrambling when you least expect it. But here's the good news. You don't have to navigate this alone. You don't have to wait until it's too late. That's where our incredible friends and partners at Chapter come in. They're offering free Medicare help and consultation to make sure you're on the right plan for you. And you can reach them right now at the number that you guys see on the screen. At the number you see on your screen, 270-467-2426. And here's why Chapter is different. They work for you, not big insurance companies or the government. In under 20 minutes, their expert advisors can review your current plan and compare it against thousands of options available in your area. And if you're already on the best possible plan for your needs, then they'll just tell you, no strings attached. But if there's a better option, one that saves you money or gives you better coverage, well, they'll walk you through how to switch, even if it's to a plan that pays them nothing. That's right. Schedule a consultation, take control of your Medicare plan, protect your health, and save your hard-earned money, because you deserve peace of mind no matter where you are. Again, let me know. California, Texas, Iowa, Florida, New York, Kansas, or anywhere in between. Let's keep the momentum going here, folks. Share this message, spread the word, and let's make sure everyone we care about is ready for what's ahead. Again, thank you for being part of this community, and let's keep fighting the good fight together.